NPL New South Wales round 14. It's St George City taking on APIA Leichhardt FC. Saturday night football. Two teams who have been red hot these last couple of weeks in NPL football. St George coming off a win here against the Central Coast Mariners. APIA Leichhardt a win last week against the Sutherland Sharks. Plenty to look forward to tonight in around 90 minutes time. It's a good evening from a chilly Penshurst Park as two of the hottest teams in NPL New South Wales men's football look to light it up tonight. It's St George City hosting APIA Leichhardt FC with a home side looking to make it 4 straight wins. APIA come to town with confidence, having won 3 of their last 4 games and have been victorious in their last 2 away trips. I'm Tony Solano. It's great to have you along for this round 14 fixture live on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel. Depending on results, St George City could be in the top 6 by the end of the round, while APIA look to keep pace with the league leaders. Referee tonight is Brodie Merchant, his assistants Patrick Talecki and Josh Kermond. The 4th official is Liam Smith. Plenty of changes for the APIA side. They played midweek in the Australia Cup. Adrian Uchino, you can see they're posing as their captain, as Tariq Erkan for St George City. We'll get to those changes and the lineup straight after kickoff. Both these teams coming off wins last weekend. St George City right here against the Central Coast Mariners, a 3-2 victory. While APIA, a professional 2-0 victory over the Sutherland Sharks. So as we said, midweek football for APIA. This will be their 3rd game in 7 days. They're at Sutherland last week, Macquarie Park during the week, and tonight they're in Hurstville. Travelling, hoping to see if they can get maximum points. St George City in their home red and white kit. APIA Leichhardt in the sky blue with the white numbering. St George City, their striker Mark McNulty in the middle, ready to get us underway. The home side shooting for 4 straight wins, and this would be a big scalp against APIA Leichhardt FC. Awaiting the referee's whistle. Has a look at his watch, and we are underway. St George City, big test for them as they try and climb into the top 6. And they'll knock it back to their goalkeeper to start this one. 2 teams tonight for St George City. In goals, Jack Kenny, Matthew Wabi, and also Tariq Erkan in defence. Dominic Cox starts tonight, as does Mark McNulty and Paolo Mitri. For Moto Kamara, Noah Ovens, Dakota Askew, Brodie Clarkson, and Louis Curry make up the starting 11. On the bench tonight, Coyote Godoy, Nathan Roberts, Kai Kamikura, Cameron Kemp, Will Kunas, and Goncalo Agrelos. They're coached by James Spanodakis. In midfield, APIA retrieve the ball. Shape to go long, but play wide. Their team for tonight, Anthony Buzanis in goals. Josh Simmons, Anthony Sparacino in defence. Jack Stewart starts, as does Joel Bertolicio. Saya Kambiashi's been in good form. as is their captain, Adrian Uccino, Franco Farinella, and Michael Kuda in that starting side, along with Alex Denmead and Jordan Segreto. The bench for APIA, Dredon Kelly, Nika Zone, Maxim Kaslovic, Oliver Kalac also on the bench tonight. They are coached by Franco Parisi. Ball thrown into midfield. Curry. Put it forward for McNulty. Brings it down nicely. Space wide for St George City. They'll have to be good tonight, St George. Big task for them. Mitri. He's got to be in everything. The midfielder, as they win the throw, the home side. 2 minutes into the game. Turn from Mitri at the byline. Goal kick, so large touch of St George City. St George coming into this game in 9th position. 5 wins, 2 draws, and 6 losses. 17 points. Started the season slowly, but have really started to come into form. 4 games unbeaten. As APIA go long. Easily maintained in defence for St George City. For APIA, currently in 5th. 7 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. 23 points. 5 behind lead leaguers Marconi. Nice ball, falls nicely for APIA. Chance here for Segreto. Slides it in low, but good save by Kenny. First big chance of the game going to APIA. But St George City keeping them at bay. Next best thing for the visitors. Corner to come. Players arriving in the box. Sparacino, also Josh Simmons there as well. Set piece for APIA to the back post. Botolicio tried to keep it in. He did, according to the officials. Segreto tried the nutmeg, but now on the counter. Here come St George City, their first chance. Kamada has Kuri overlapping. Fumoto Kamada finds Kuri in the box. Knocks it to the back post. And cleared away eventually. They'll recycle here, the home side. And turned it over. 3 wins in a row for St George City. It's the Sutherland Sharks, Western Sydney Wanderers, and Central Coast Mariners. Of course, those teams below them on the table, but it's a maximum 9 points. It sees them 1 point outside the top 6. APIA win last week. As they play long once more. Trying to find players like Jack Stewart to hold it up. Lost a couple of weeks ago to Marconi in the Derby d'Italia. To Spain. Bertolicio heading forward. Plays wide for Stewart. Kambiashi was sizing that one up for a volley. As we mentioned, APIA, midweek football for them, so they've made a number of changes. Bertolicio, now Stewart. The captain Uccino. Over 200 appearances for APIA. Great stalwart for this club. Denmead, Stewart, Buzanis, the goalkeeper, also starting. Head of Rory Jordan not there this week. Presley Ortiz and also Oliver Kalac, who's on the bench. Trying to rotate their squad. So much depth for APIA. Clarkson sends Askew off. St George City heading forward. Nice move. Cox wants it at his feet. Doesn't get it. Still with St George. The shot, no real power. And safely collected by Anthony Bouzanis, brother of Dean Bouzanis. APIA like to play open, free-flowing football. Decide to knock it forward again. Intercepted by Okan. Kamada's got to be busy tonight on that left wing. St George City changes for them as well. Jesse Fotti and Nathan Grimaldi out tonight. Dominic Cox and Brody Clarkson in the starting side. Pass too heavy for Curry, but McNulty receives it. Denmead. Alex Denmead boarding Cogra, not too far from here. Very valuable in front of goal. So APIA maintain possession from the throw. Going to camp down in St George City's half. APIA, of course, have no trouble scoring goals. Scored 37 goals already in their 14 games. Equal with Rockdale. Now turnover. Here comes St George City. Lashing forward. McNulty couldn't receive the pass. Stewart. Nice move to get around Kamada. Play Segreto. Now knocking it through the 17s battle, and Noah Ovens wins that contest. One of 4 big games tonight here in NPL New South Wales men's. 2 already completed. 0-0 draw between Mount Druitt and the Sutherland Sharks. And in our big match of the round over at Jubilee Stadium, Sydney Olympic 4-0 over Sydney United 58. Shot fired, never really dangerous. Always going over the bar. St George City goalkeeper Jack Kenny assessing his options, sending everybody along. Looking for a contest. Who's going to win that second ball? St George City. Ovens. Now Kamada, where a lot of their attack is generated. George City to halfway. Ball well weighted for Kamada. Rotolicio arguing the last touch was off St George, but it'll be a corner. So the home side get a really good look here off a set piece. Just over 10 minutes played in this one. No score, but is that about to change? St George City from the corner flag. Delivered near post, nodded on. And eventually the header from APIA keeps the danger away. Denmead in transition. Segreto joins in, nice touch. But St George eventually get back to retrieve it. Cox jostling in midfield. Dominic Cox provided the winner for the corresponding fixture last year. St George City won here 1-0. It's a nice bending ball by Kamara. Bertolicio wants to keep the ball in at the corner. Be a throw for APIA. But APIA in the return fixture in round 19 got a 4-1 victory over St George City. So last year the results were split. Going to see who will get bragging rights for the first time in 2025. Segreto holding it up. Bounces favourably. Wabi shoots and just wide. Great opportunity for St George City. The youngster has been in fine form already since coming into the starting side. Could have got a big goal right there. Bertolicio. APIA looking to return serve straight away. Ovens, good tackle on Segreto. Be a corner. So St George City have to switch back on. A near miss moments ago. Got to get ready for defence. Here's Seiya Kambiashi. The right-footed outswinger. Drives it towards the back post. Header won by St George, but the threat's not gone. Ball fumbled in the box, and it'll be another corner. Last touch off the home side. So a carbon copy of the last copper. Seiya Kambiashi to deliver the corner again. Drives it low again. Curry read that one well, and now he's sprinting to the ball. Jack Kenny between the sticks for St George City. Joined their club in 2023. Part of the Newcastle Jets Academy. Ovens tried to find McNulty. Kambiashi. Segreto presented himself again. Too many touches and it'll be a throw to St George City. Been an intriguing first 14 minutes. Feels like it's flown by. A good chance early for Matthew Wabi. And also Segreto had a good chance too very early on. Two of the most informed teams in the competition. Both teams played finals last year and they'll want to be there again in season 2025. Nice flick on. Stewart drills one across the field. Denmead holding it up. Forced back Alex Denmead. Jack Stewart. Plays Bertolicio. Just a little bit too square. Go behind for a goal kick. Overnight yesterday in NPL New South Wales men's, the Friday night games. Manly, a 1-1 draw against Rockdale. And an upset, Western Sydney Wanderers, 3-0 winners over the St George Saints. The local neighbours. Jack Stewart wins the header. Have a long ball forward. Kambiashi chasing. Work to do Urkan. But he and Kenny combine well. Here goes Wabi. Let him glide across the field. Presenting for Cox. Cross comes in. Couldn't be negotiated by McNulty. A throw for St George City. Mark McNulty, their prize signing. Looking for him to step up in big games like these. Clarkson. Cox. Bortolicio, right back. Cleaning up for his side. Jack Stewart getting in front. Couldn't pass in time. Throw in for St George City. Other game live right now. Over at Marconi Stadium. In Sydney's West. The league leaders Marconi are down. They trail 1-0 against the Wollongong Wolves. On 30 minutes. Marconi still undefeated and we're 14 rounds in. Here comes Stewart. Off the body, Erkan. Segreto is ready to swoop. Both teams happy to go long. Dominic Cox just having a word to the referee. Spotting something, and Jack Kenny motioning, wants to slow down the tempo a little bit. APIA happy to play open and fast. But it's St George City who want to dictate terms here at home. Play at their pace. Grind down the NPL heavyweights. Just under 20 minutes gone. Here at Penshurst Park. No score. It's APIA trying to go around St George City. Nice move from Curry. Jostled off it by Stewart. And now off goes Segreto. Making a nice run. He's so quick. Push in the back. Now a corner. Referee ignored the push in the back. Says they were jostling for a contest. APIA, opportunity here. Even low at the feet. On the volley, Uchino. And now Simmons scored a goal similar to that last week. Kenny able to keep it out. They go so quickly right at the feet of McNulty. That was a great distribution. Wants a quick throw. So George City keen on field position. Once they get in here, want to slow things down. Hold up play, try and break down the APIA defence. And a free kick to APIA. So field position surrendered. The Simmons brothers have been stalwarts for APIA over many years. Also, Adrian Uchino, let's not forget about him. All of a team revolving around them. And, of course, coach Franco Parisi. Not too long ago in 2015, he was the NPL Player of the Year for APIA Leichhardt FC. As they venture forward for Denmead. As a shot from outside the box. Never really troubling Jack Kenny. Kamada. Nice flick on. Bertolicio getting in front. Cambiashi leaves it for Stewart. Bearing down on goal, Stewart. Low driving shot and another good save by Jack Kenny. Starting to have plenty to do, Jack Kenny. It's his third successful save in succession. marshalling his troops, telling them APIA is starting to get some good looks. Wabi watches that one go over his head and out of play. It's going to be a very long season for APIA. We're into round 14, just on halfway through. Next week will be halfway through the season. We play 30 rounds, and then finals, of course. If both these teams want to be there, that's another 3 weeks. Ovens sends it back to where it came from. But APIA parts of the Australian Championship, the National Second Division. The groups were announced for that competition, which starts in October. We'll get back to that in a moment as APIA venture forward. Ball intercepted by Askew. Be a throw. APIA in Group D have drawn rivals Sydney United 58 and also the champion from NPL South Australia and NPL Western Australia to make up their group of 4. Group A, we've got Sydney Olympic and South Melbourne, 2 very proud clubs with Greek heritage. They'll have the Northern New South Wales Premier League and the Queensland Premier League champions. That's a tough contest. Both Cox and Josh Simmons are still down. It was heavy contact. Referees called on the trainers to have a look. He was okay with first contact. Players straight away appealed. One of the games stopped. Ugly collision as the bodies contacted each other. Just back to the Australian Championship while these players are getting assessed. In Group B, Marconi, the Wollongong Wolves, the premiers from NPL Victoria and also the premiers from NPL Tasmania. And then finally in Group C, Avondale FC from NPL Victoria, Preston Lions also from NPL Victoria, and the Premier NPL New South Wales, and the Premier from Capital Football in the ACT. So if St George City were to win the premiership, they would enter this Australian Championship. It's going to be very interesting to see which side, as we see Bertalicio knock a ball forward looking for Denmead. Burkhan clears. Wanted to find McNulty. Goes all the way back to Buzanis. The NPL New South Wales Premier is going to be very interesting because likes of Marconi and Rockdale are already in the competition, as are APIA. Here they venture forward. Kambayashi switches wide for Stewart, but Kamada, nice header. Josh Simmons, a goal scorer last week. Throw one by APIA, far side of the ground. Falls for Cox, finds McNulty. Dropping back in. And another throw for APIA. They love to play quickly. Here they go again. Free kick again for the visitors, trying to catch out St George City. Players trying to get the attention of the referee. Ovens has Kamada forward if he wants him. Turns. Nice move by Noah Ovens. Keeps his feet. Squares it up for Mitri. Now play wide again. St. George City, great opportunity. To the box, the cross. Kamada gets first touch to it. Be nice if that one would have landed at his feet. Kamada looking to bend in across. APIA so hard to break down. Erkan. All St. George City players over halfway. Nice turn from Mitri. Cox plays wide. Kamada thought about hitting it first time. Ended up in the path of Curry first. Louis Curry. Kamada. Ovens switches wide. It's a well-weighted pass too. Wabi holding it up this time. Clarkson gets involved. Mitri, Clarkson again. Great save by Buzanis. And the follow-up won't find the back of the nets. Good keeping from APIA. Still no score, but a great opportunity. Header won by Ovens. But Alicio sends it back his way. No team can really get a grasp on midfield. And Mitri wins it. The crowd not happy with that call. Uchino. It's been a very challenging contest thus far. Both these teams very well organised. Here's Bertolicio. Farinella heads it into midfield. Cox. A great bending pass for McNulty. Waiting for troops to arrive. And not hard enough for Kamada. So Farinella. His pass doesn't find the mark either. Curry. Still with St. George City. McNulty. Clarkson. Great pass. Threaded the needle through to APIA midfielders. Cox presented himself as an option. Still wants it. Wabi taking the odds to it. Push in the back and a free kick. Half an hour gone here at Penshurst Park. This game on a knife's edge. Jack Stewart. Curry trying to turn defensive to attack. Last touch off the number 12, Farinella, originally listed in jersey 99. But in the jersey 12 tonight. Ovens goes right back to goalkeeper Jack Kenny. Tough pass, but dealt with well. Long ball's the order of the night for both sides. Stewart looking up. Well done by Ovens. But he's conceded the corner. Game of cat and mouse at the moment, both sides. Saya Kambayashi from the corner flag once more. drilled it low and short the last couple. Decides to go towards the back post this time. Segreto. Wanted to combine with one of his APIA teammates, but St George City nullified that one. Nice use of the body, nice turn. Kambayashi, so it's a pass for Stewarts. Segreto couldn't get it before Kenny. Interchange of passing starting to flow for APIA. And now it's APIA again. Clarkson trying to be a little bit too cute. But St George escape and clear away for now. Jordan Segreto sweating on a few of those balls. And that ball can't quite find Farinella. Kamada with the throw. Curry tried to get in front, but it's Farinella who wins the day. Stewart. Here is Farinella again. 1-2 with Kambayashi. Rokan comes out. Now the defender out of position, but they recover well, St George City. Pinball in the tight pocket. Kambayashi, nice ball for Stewarts. Cuts it square, couldn't quite find Denmead. Waipi's off and running. Clarkson, man on. Great distribution for McNulty, trying to keep it in. McNulty plays it back. Mitri. Looking inside. Clarkson one touch. Now Cox. Finds Kamada. Good opportunity here for St George City. Kamada trying to get around. Bertolicio plays it back in. And it was a last touch from St George City, which means it'll be a goal kick. Never really threatening with that last ball though, St George City. St George City unbeaten in their last 4 games. Rosanis, that one was a hard one to contain. APIA's attempt to play out from the back. Stewart snuffs that one out. Denmead. Over halfway, nice run being made. APIA will be first to it. The shot, good block. Corner for APIA. St George player down on his haunches. Referee Brody Merchant assessing the player. As the APIA defenders make their way into the box. Sean Simmons, Anthony Sparacino, and also Joel Bertolicio. The referee has called for medical attention. So earlier result today, Mount Druitt and Sutherland, 0-0 draw. Sydney Olympic 4-0 over Sydney United. So George City defender just being assessed for coming down after a block. APIA, it's been a busy week for them on the men's front, but also for the women. Thursday night football for the APIA women. They went down 4-3 against the Newcastle Jets. And tonight, playing at Lambert Park against the Northern Tigers. So APIA looking to do the double in the men's and the women's. Looks like Matthew Weeby. Service towards the back post. Pushed away on the volley. Couldn't connect properly, Segreto. Farinella. Bertolicio waited for Stewart to make a run. Here it is. Jack Stewart at the byline. Crosses in. Knocked away by Ovens. Another corner coming. They're racking up the corners, APIA. No goals to show for it, though. 7 minutes of normal time remaining in this first half. There's two teams who are looking for a result. Stewart this time. Bombs it to the back post. Header from Simmons and a push in the back. Free kick for St George City. Matthew Weeby looks like he's just run out that injury. Great feature of Matthew on the NPL New South Wales website. "21 years old. Made his debut in round 1 against Rockdale and then starting debut in round 10 against Sydney Olympic. Hoping to nail down that right back spot. Plenty of depth in defence at St George City with the likes of Grimaldi. Also waiting in the wings. And Digodoy. Bertolicio was looking for Stewart, who slipped over. Ovens and Kamada combine. Noah Ovens down the touchline. Noah Ovens and Rockdale player Bray Ovens. Brothers come through the system. Went to Endeavour Sports High School. Very good sports selective school in the Sutherland Shire. Askew. His turn to run. Through ball for Mitri. It's on here for St George. Good save by Buzanis. Kambayashi wanted to get APIA moving in transition, and they win the free kick, St George City. So St George City really standing up to APIA here tonight. We know what's at stake. St George City bearing down on the top 6. Going to get themselves into the finals positions as we approach the second half of the season. Free kick for City. Bent in. Header. Ovens was the man. But couldn't bring it down. Nodded over the bar. It's half-time over at Marconi Stadium. Wollongong Wolves lead 1-0 over the Marconi Stallions. So an upset on the cards there, but plenty of time to go. No score here at Penshurst Park thus far. Few chances for both sides though. Okan tried to play Mitri up the line. Palon Mitri's been in really good form this last month. St George City currently in 9th. But there's 4 teams hunting down those top 6 positions. Manly, who hold it, were held to a 1-1 draw against Rockdale, which means if St George City win, they'll jump into that position. McNulty wins the free kick. So St George City getting some set pieces in some really good positions now. Hoping to see if they can tuck one away and get the lead heading into half-time. How often do we see a goal scored right before the break? Left foot of Curry. Entered in. Headed away by Josh Simmons. Segreto wanted to begin the transition, but a nice block from St George City. You don't want to play APIA on the counter-attack. They can be very deadly. Weavy. At the last touch, it'll be a throw for APIA. Competition so even this year. If APIA were to give up points tonight, they'll be back in that top 6 logjam. They go forward. Kambayashi. Bertalicio looking to come forward. It's along the carpet for Kuda. Josh Simmons. 1-2 with Jack Stewart. Farinella with the switch. Header from Kuda. But St George negotiate that one well. Two minutes of injury time remaining in this first half. Both teams are looking to jag a goal. Simmons drives that one long, but never really a threat for the St George City defenders. Jack Kenny pushing everybody forward. Big boot of Kenny. Header from McNulty. A routine save for Buzanis. Made some very good saves, Anthony Buzanis. Apia looking to play out from the back, but he's knocked it behind the byline, so it'll be a corner. Wasn't the option from the goalkeeper. And now St George City will get a corner right on half-time. Wouldn't it be something if they scored from here? Fumoto Kamara looking to deliver the corner. Left-footed in swinger. Plenty of troops to aim at for City. Towards the back post. Punched away by Buzanis. Cox puts it back in there. And Bolzanos will watch it go past him for a goal kick. And there is the halftime whistle here at Penshurst Park. No score at the break. St George City 0. APIA 0. It's been an entertaining first half. Plenty of chances. Both teams want to make sure they convert those in the second half. St George City standing up to APIA. Both teams know what's on the line here tonight. So the informed teams going at it. Let's see what will unfold in the next 45 minutes. Join us back in about 10 minutes' time for all the second half action here on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel. I'm Tony Sloan, and we'll see you after the break. The referees and players are back out for the second half. APIA standing over the ball. Jordan Segreto and Seiya Kambiashi getting us back underway. No score at half-time, but plenty of opportunities for both sides, which I'll be looking to build on. Change at half-time, Eddie Caspers onto the ground. We'll confirm shortly who he replaced. Sean Simmons. Farinella tried to play the diagonal. Didn't quite get the angle he wanted. St. George City, the home team. Long ball forward from Josh Simmons. He's looking for Alex Denmead. Askew, former APIA Leichhardt player. Concedes the throw. Presley Ortiz is a big part of this APIA side as their striker, a former St. George City player. He's not there tonight, where many of their goals have come from. Presley Ortiz, 8 goals for APIA, their leading goal scorer in season 2025. Jordan Segreto and Jack Stewart each have 5 goals each. St. George City, Mark McNulty, already up to 5 for the year. Kamada has 4. Force for Segreto heading forward into the box. Jordan Segreto squaring it up. Now driving in. Caspers this time, the freshman on the field. Just over the bar. Could have made an immediate impact. Coming on, Eddie Caspers. Coming over to APIA this season. Started playing NPL at age 16. Eddie Caspers is now 22. So he's got some really good experience and just slots right into that APIA machine. Kenny knocks it straight to that man, Eddie Caspers. Advantage played. Neat ball for Denmead. Trying to get beyond Weeby. Farinella. Casters. Bertolicio, now Caspers. And free kick won by St. George City. The first of the second half. Just after half-time, over at the Palace. And Marconi are now 2 goals down. Are they facing their first loss of the season against the Wollongong Wolves? Lachlan Scott, a brace for him. Still plenty of time, 60 minutes for the champions. Sean Simmons and now Sparashino. Nice turn from Stewart. A lot generated from the right side of the ground through Jack Stewart. Miscommunication means it'll be a throw for St. George City. On this cool night in Penshurst Park. Sean Simmons Got it through the legs of the St George City defender. Askew, they're always dangerous balls. He did that well, St George City. McNulty trying to get in front. Off Spadacino. Bertolicio floating along the halfway mark. Now space for APIA. If they can generate it wide. Here they go. Kambayashi getting it on his preferred rights. Stewart moving central. Nice ball. Bertolicio wins it back. Shoots! And just wide. So it looked like it went into the goals, but into the side netting. From the naked eye, looked really close. But no goal for St George City. Or APIA at this point. Let's put that one down to an optical illusion. But Delicio going the closest of any player tonight. Askew sweating on that throw. Urkan. APIA attacking through their defence, pushing St George City right back. Nice 1-2 with Cox Askew. Couldn't find Weeby. Be a throw for APIA. Kambiashi, finalist for the 2022 NPL Player of the Year. So when he gets it right, one of the most destructive players in the game. Casper's looked really good since he's come on. Farinella trying to get beyond St George defence, but the ball beats him out of play. Just under 10 minutes gone in this second half. Still awaiting the first goal of the game. So George City would love another home win. Of course, to play finals, it's a non-negotiable. You've got to win your games at home or get results from them at least to be in the conversation. They've done that the last month. Wins over the Mariners and Western Sydney Wanderers here. And now they're stepping up a level again for APIA. So George City in enemy territory. The header exchange. St George City win it through Askew. It's a well-timed shot. Just a little bit too high, but the idea was right. Trying to catch out Anthony Buzanis. Sparacino. Bending it to Denmead, but Askew. Well negotiated by him. Long throw from Sean Simmons. Segreto and Denmead combine. Kept it in. Cleared away by Ovens. It'll be a throw. As quickly as you blink, APIA back on the attack. Nice back heel, inventive work by Kambiashi. He gives away the free kick. Penshurst Park, always a tough place to play. The dimension slightly smaller than other grounds in the league. That's why you see a lot of teams going more long balls, trying to get themselves down there and interchange the passing around the box. Jack Kenny goes long and strong at the feet of Curry. Stewart holding it up. Sean Simmons finds Caspers, a heavy touch though. Askew wins the ball. McNulty looking forward. Mark McNulty, his best opportunity. Tried a through ball, couldn't find Mitri. Weeby assessing his options. It's a throw for APIA. The last touch off St George City. Sparacino now back to Buzanis. The press on. Curry provided pressure and was able to force a throw. Curry again, he's provided some good passes. Mitri looked up, decided to play wide. Weeby sizing this one up. Good defending in transition. Player goes down. Referee waved away the contact on Segreto. They've got to switch back on APIA. Curry. And wins the free kick. Good play there for the home side. Got to do more from these set pieces though. So we approach the hour mark. St George City 0, APIA 0. Who's going to break the deadlock? Three-man wall to contend with. Delivered. And now Urkan. His ball's intercepted. Back into the middle. Kamada. Askew. They want to keep it up there. But that sails over the byline. It'll be a goal kick. So not the result the home side was after. Buzanis, of course, the goalkeeper tonight, ahead of Oliver Kalatz, who was in goals in the Australia Cup tie. APIA move into round 7. The draw to be released on who they will play. A couple of fixtures to come this week to complete those round 6 fixtures. Referee Brodie Merchant has his hands full. Players starting to get a little bit restless. Deflection. Full goes Sean Simmons. Clarkson switches play, looking for Kamara. At his feet. Curry will run all day. Weeby. Askew tries another switch. Not enough power for Kamara. Ovens, Cox. Holding possession well, St George City. Denmead sprinting for this ball. Askew just kept it in. Heavy pass for Mithri. Josh Simmons. But it's Alicio playing it forward, looking for Segreto. Be a throw for Apia. Of course, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers watching. Plenty of proud mums watching these 22 players go at it on the field at the moment. Fair few of them in the crowd too. Sean Simmons, Segreto makes the extra number. Scooped up by Kenny. McNulty's got a big job tonight. Here he's doing it, holding it up for his troops. Finds Cox. And they'll win the throw. So much experience, Mark McNulty, the Scotsman. Played in the Premier League with Sheffield United, Portsmouth, Sunderland. Referee eventually blows the free kick. Wanted to know what happens with the advantage. Next week for St George City, they're on the road against Sydney United 58. Followed by at home to Rockdale and then at home to Wollongong. So it's a tough stretch coming up for the home side. Love to get a result here tonight. Long ball forward, looking for Sean Simmons. Weeby knocks it behind. It'll be a corner for Apia next week. Big game at home against Sydney Olympic. Olympic tonight, a 4-0 victory over Sydney United 58. Then they're away at Wollongong and then at home to the Central Coast. Kambayashi to deliver the corner for Apia. Delivers towards the back post, hanging it up. Casper's thought about the volley. Cox intercepts. Kamara off and away. Both teams have been very good at nullifying the opposition's transition before it even starts. Making sure they don't get the advantage off the break. Curry venturing forward. Wins the free kick. Louis Curry, ever industrious in midfield. Played in the Manchester City Youth Academy. Palomitri driving it towards the box. Cox puts it over the top. They are getting opportunities, St George City, but they've got to start icing them. As we approach the last 25 minutes. Ball again. Askew falls for Denmead. Throw for APIA. Looking for the opening goal. It may well be the match winner. The way that this game's going. It's been a very tight tussle. Lozanis. Caught wrong-footed with that one. It'll be a throw for St George City. They want to go quickly. McNulty. Mitri slipped over. Wanted a free kick. That challenge waved away. Referee wasn't having any of it. Be very fiery on those coaches' boxes. They know what's at stake. Now we're getting down to the business minutes. Sparacino. Farinella wins the second ball. Gets it back from Sean Simmons. Switch of play by Sparacino. Kambayashi collects in midfield. Stewart. Look very likely tonight. Jack Stewart. Here he is. Cross. Low tumbling. Now coming out of defence, Askew tugged in the back. Free kick for St George City. They wanted to go quickly. The referee wasn't having it. Buzanis an easy catch. APIA with a switch of their own. Sean Simmons going to tee up Segreto. Clarkson's first to it. Korean Kambayashi. It was APIA who won out. Bertolicio settling himself. APIA applying the pressure. Sean Simmons plays central. Jack Stewart's there. And he was fouled too. Free kick in a really good position for APIA. Just outside the 18-yard box. One would think they're probably going to go direct. Referee Merchant taking the wall back. Five-man wall to contend with. Segreto leading the line tonight in the absence of Presley Ortiz. The free kick responsibility falls to Jordan Segreto. Bends it around the wall, but taken safely by Kenny. Picked out where he was going. And now the counter-attack by St George City. "20 minutes from home, and we have a substitution. Alex Denmead coming from the field. His night is done for tonight. Good shift from the striker. Onto the field comes Dredon Kelly. Is that a sign? Maybe APIA looking to shore up their defence a little bit. Dredon Kelly chasing hard on Askew. So Kelly traditionally in the back lines, playing forward tonight. Kelly trying to use his body to win that ball. Been really aggressive since he's come on. And now St George City making the change of their own. Paulo Mitri coming from the field. Nathan Roberts is the new man. So the team's going blow for blow. Although we haven't had the goals, it's been a very entertaining fixture. Remember, if you're going to play finals, you've got to beat teams in and around that spot, and that's what we have here tonight. Two teams on the cusp of the six. Jack Kenny, safe as houses in goal. Nathan Roberts seizes on the turnover. Curry. And offside, so they came out of the play. Over at Marconi Stadium, the Wollongong Wolves 3-0 with 5 minutes to go. So Marconi staring down the barrel of their first loss of the season against the Wolves. Sean Simmons. Switch looking for Stewart. Farinella trying to seize on that ball. St George player down. Taking their time with that one. So we mentioned St George City on the road next week to take on Sydney United 58. While APIA are at home against Sydney Olympic. Big games next week for both sides. I'd like to bounce into those with a victory. As we approach the turn, next week we'll be halfway through the season. We'll play the return fixtures again. Weeby heading it forward. Roberts was in the congestion, but wasn't able to get his head to it. Clarkson. Askew. Weeby, nice use of the body, wanted the back heel. Was snuffed out by the APIA players. Throw from Weeby. They're appealing for a foul throw. Not many of those get called anymore. Segreto trying to release Kelly on the chase for Urkan. He slipped over Urkan. Referee said there's contact, so free kick. Imposing figure is Dredon Kelly from Ontario, Canada. Played in the US for the Golden State. Football. APIA want another substitution. Jordan Segreto, his night's done. So some fresh legs in these last 15 minutes. Kasalovic comes onto the field. There it is, confirmed by the fourth official, Liam Smith. Captain was missing for much of a campaign early in the season. Since he's come back, no secret, St George has improved in form, so they don't want to lose him again. Kenny taking his time. Curry wins the ball in midfield. Kamada up the line. Roberts. Kamada again in traffic. They've done a good job to nullify him tonight. Curry, nice use of his body. Couldn't quite get to Roberts. So now APIA will go. Caspers plays for Kambiashi forward. Kenny getting dangerously close to the edge of that box. Sending everybody forward. Happy to slow things down, the St George City goalkeeper. McNulty was ruled offside. Sean Simmons. Kaslovic. McNulty, now Curry. The St George City peel off. APIA, Kelly's gone down. He was going to be the conduit. Left it for Kambiashi. He's dangerous on this angle. Back heel for Sean Simmons. Trying to keep it in. He's done really well. And gives away the free kick. Felt like in that last place in George City, we're trying to get the attention of the referee to make a substitution. Kenny goes long. Weeby keeping it in. McNulty, nice touch. Roberts joins in. Louis Curry plays wide. Kamada bends one towards the back post. Never really a threat on goal. Collective sigh by the crowd. How many more opportunities are they going to get with 10 minutes remaining? To stoppage time over at Marconi Stadium. Wollongong Wolves lead 3-0. So with that result, Marconi will still have the lead at the top. It'll be 5 over Rockdale, Blacktown City with a game in hand. They can move into outright second. Northwest Sydney Spirit on 25. And APIA, at the moment, still sitting in 5th. A win tonight, they could have jumped Northwest Sydney Spirit. They can still do that. They get the 3 points here tonight. Roberts plays forward, looking for McNulty. And they win the free kick for the handball. Big weekend for the Wollongong Wolves with their 3-0 victory over Marconi. They jump into the top 6 spot. A superior goal difference to St George City. Short free kick. Curry whips it in. Tried first time, Clarkson, but didn't get a good connection. Sparacino looking for Bertolicio. And now Stewart. Down that right touchline. Bends a nice ball in. Couldn't quite get to Kelly. Kamada plays back. Didn't work out the way he planned. Farinella. APIA keeping it in play. Roberts couldn't quite get McNulty. Sean Simmons. Kambayashi thought Kelly was going to be behind him. And now ball falls favourably for Kelly. Nudging Askew off the ball, play on. Puts it into the middle. Still on for Stewart's. Shoots, good save by Kenny. Josh Simmons, Farinella. It's been really good tonight, only very young. Gasilovic. Good range for Sean Simmons. Shoots off legs. Jack Stewart's moved over to the left. Caspers. Through ball. Couldn't quite get to Bertolicio. And ball one. So free kick for St George City. Substitution, Louis Curry coming off the field. Long from Kenny, really long. But again, offside from the resumption. Nope, the referee said throw in first. Ball had gone out. Full the offside was called. Kelly, it's felt like he's been chasing this whole half. Finally gets his head on something. Kasalovic. Sayed Kambiashi, usually the game breaker in these situations. But it looks like this man, Jack Stewart, who looks like he may be able to produce something. Agrelos came onto the field following that substitution. Sean Simmons. Now Stewart, there it is, Farinella. Sean Simmons wanted Kelly, slipping over Askew. Kambayashi. Looking forward for options. Kaspers gets in a good position. Off bodies and rolls meekly to the feet of Jack Kenny. Clean sheet brewing for both these sides. St George City, the defence has been quite good this season. Only let in the 19 goals in their 13 games thus far. Goes quickly, Sean Simmons. That was a lovely pass. Kelly. Taking all the St George City players on. Kasalovic. Play square. Josh Simmons. Nice ball. Bertolicio plays it across. Good defending by St George City. They'll go again, APIA. They won't stop trying. Kambayashi. Headers down for Sean Simmons. Bends it into the middle, looking for Kelly. And now it's St George City's turn. Agrelos. Out comes Buzanes. Not the result the goalkeeper wanted. So now St George City. Two minutes of normal time remaining. Is there a result coming? Is somebody going to snatch the 3 points? If it's only the one goal, it'll be a golden goal, that's for sure. Herkan, dangerous pass, but Kenny sends it into the Hurstville night sky. Last minute of normal time. Urgency's increasing. APIA moving forward. Sparacino. There's tomorrow's fixtures. NPL New South Wales you can find here on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel. Blacktown City taking on Sydney FC. And Central Coast Mariners taking on the Northwest Sydney Spirit to end round 14. But there's a game to be won now. Heavy pass. But Stewart did well with what he got. Kaspers turns that ball over. Roberts has space and time. Still plays forward, and it falls for McNulty. This is what he was brought to the club for, McNulty. And these big moments, Roberts. Clarkson men on. Still McNulty. They've lost out. Off go Apia. Stewart. Onside, says the referee. Jack Stewart. Too many numbers. Trying to weave it through the St George defence. And a free kick eventually for St George City. Jack Stewart, it was 3-on-1. He did his best to try and hack it through. And he's collected one of the St George City players in the process. Urkani's had a tough night in the wars. Just about to get the allocation of injury time. Farinella. Roberts trying to seize on the loose ball. Taken safely by Bouzanis. Got to head forward. Time is of the essence. Stewart goes from long range, but didn't dip in time. That sums up the night for both teams. Both defences well organised. Haven't been able to find a way through tonight. But both wouldn't mind a result. That would mean 5 games unbeaten for St George City. Incrementally making their way up the ladder. APIA will follow last week's win with a draw. But is there still one more twist in this tale? Sean Simmons knows the assignment. Kambayashi looking inside. Getting past the St George defenders. Kambayashi driving it between defenders, but safely in the clutches of Jack Kenny. Good goalkeeping performance. Takes those clean sheets with pride. Both teams will, if that's the result that we get. Apia launching another attack. Long throw. Sean Simmons looking for Jack Stewart. That's where a lot of their attack is generated. Here goes Jack Stewart. Playing Kelly, but just a little bit too long. Stoppage will eat into injury time. Kenny goes long, looking for Roberts, but it falls for Cox. Josh Simmons wins the header. Caspers does the same. Free kick, every whistle beginning to sound like the last one. Getting to that point, all Apia play is sent forward. The double bluff by Apia. Sparacino. Now Sean Simmons whips it towards the back post. Up they rise. And cleared away. As full time here at Penshurst Park. We finish as we started. At full time, St George City 0. APIA Leichhardt FC 0. A game where plenty of chances were generated. Just both teams couldn't put that final touch away, which means they'll both walk away with a point. Next weekend, St George City will look to continue their unbeaten run of 5 games away at Sydney United 58. So a trip to Endenza Park. And for APIA, they will take on Sydney Olympic at home. So a point for the home side, one that they need, and edges them closer to the top 6. APIA return home. We're going to see if they can consolidate their spot in the finals positions. Next week is halfway through the competition. Every team would have played each other once as we make the turn for the finals. I'm Tony Slaughter. Thank you for joining us here on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel. Hope to see you next time. Make sure you tune in for tomorrow's Sunday matches. Blacktown City and Sydney FC. And then Central Coast Mariners taking on Northwest Sydney Spirit. For everyone here at Football New South Wales, it's bye for now.